From Miller Stadium on the campus of Noblesville High School, Hamilton County Television proudly presents Hamilton County Softball. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brad Silbert. Welcome to the Noblesville Miller Softball Complex in another exciting Hamilton County matchup this afternoon between the Carmel Greyhounds and the Noblesville Millers. This promises to be a good game this afternoon. Both of these teams are coming in with winning records. The Carmel Greyhounds are 3-0, ranked number 4 in the state. The Noblesville Millers, even though they are not ranked, they are 3-1. They are also 1-1 in the the Hoosier Crossroad Conference. So even though it is a non-conference game today, it is still an important game as these teams are getting ready to come out and be introduced. Just a couple of items here. On Tuesday, yesterday, the Greyhounds traveled down to Center Grove. They posted a 9-2 victory over Center Grove. And talking with Coach Emily Good this afternoon, she was obviously very pleased with the results against Center Grove, but I think she was surprised it was as big of a victory, with Center Grove being highly ranked. Now, the Millers, they played yesterday here at Miller Park, and they started out a little bit slow but ended up beating the Westfield Shamrocks 10-6 in what turned out to be a really exciting game. We're going to turn it over to the public address announcer now for the introduction of the starting lineups.
Carmel High School and your home team, Noblesville Millers. Now introducing the starting lineups. First for the visiting Carmel High School Greyhounds. Batting first in center field, number 8, Celine Funky. Batting second in right field, number 23, Darby Robert. Catching. Batting fourth, the designated player, number 33, Kristen Eckel. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 7, Ava Walker. Batting sixth, at second base, number 1, Carly Combs. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 22, Audrey Hansen. Pitching tonight, batting eighth, number 11, Carlin Doty. And batting ninth in left field, number 9, Emma Morton. The flex player playing first base, number 18, Georgiana Derziotis. And the Greyhounds are coached by Emily Good. And now introducing the starting lineup for your home team, the Noblesville Millers. Batting first in left field, number 8, Carly Blankenship. Batting second at first base, number 14, Haley Lutz. Batting third at third base, number 10, Maddie Moore. Batting fourth and pitching, number 19, Brooke Heron. Batting fifth, the designated player, number 22, Brooke Rundle. Batting sixth and catching, number 21, Julia Furiak. Batting seventh in right field, number 9, Bree Trageser. Batting eighth at shortstop, number 7, Grace Smith. And batting ninth at second base, number 11, by Mr. Deke Bullard. And would you please rise and kindly playing of our national anthem.
We are just moments away from the opening pitch for tonight's game between the Greyhounds, and give a special thanks to all of our great home Noblesville Trophies, and Mark Hairbrand. Thanks to all of these great sponsors for making these games possible. These Tuesday night softball games and Friday night baseball games. Speaking of Friday night, the crew will be back here at Noblesville, only it will be over at Hazeldell Elementary. It'll be baseball as the Westfield Shamrocks come visiting the Noblesville Millers at 6 o'clock on Friday night here on Hamilton County Television. Saturday, we've got baseball. We've got Hamilton Heights at Guerin. That's an 11 o'clock game. Then next Tuesday, we move on. Very tough position. Got outs in leadoff runner on first. That's going to bring up Darby Roberts. She's playing right field today. She's a .455 hitter. As a team, the Greyhounds are batting .408. Called strike. Roberts squared to bunt. I don't know if she just missed the ball or if she was trying to bring the bat back in time, but she did not bring it, so it was a called strike. 0-1 on Roberts. Another missed bunt attempt. 0-2. Celine Funky about 20 feet from us here at first base. Getting ready to take the lead. There's a swing. That's over the left fielder's head. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Looks like Emily Good is going to bring Funky around, and the Greyhounds have scored first. So the walk ends up hurting the Millers, and there's 1 run and 1 hit already in the inning. Darby Roberts with a 2-base hit.
Next up,
well-hit ball over the head of Carly Blankenship, went all the way to the wall. That'll bring up the catcher, Julia Ranney. She is a .583 hitter. A lot of power in this lineup that Emily Good puts on the field. Ball 1 to Ranney. There's a pop-up just out to the shortstop, and the ball is dropped. I don't know what happened there. She lost it in the sun or whatever, but Grace Smith is down and having a little bit of a hard time getting up. I don't know if she's just frustrated with herself or they are calling a timeout, and the coaching staff is going to come out and take a look at her. Grace Smith appears to be okay, and she will continue. Probably a little bit frustrated with herself for not making that play because it looked like a play that she normally would have made. So the Greyhounds have runners now on first and third with no outs. The designated player, who normally would be in the pitching circle for the Greyhounds, Kristen Eckel, steps in. First pitch to Eckel is outside. Here's a steal attempt. And the run scores on the throw-through. Stolen base and a run, so the second run of the inning already for the Greyhounds is on the board. Nice, slow curveball there by Brooke Heron. Evens the count. 1-1. Eckel normally would be pitching for the Greyhounds, but she is not pitching this evening. There's a foul ball to the left side of third base. We'll see Carlin Doty pitching for the Greyhounds. It'll be her first pitching of the season. Eckel has pitched all 3 games so far for the 3-0 Greyhounds. There's a well-hit ball to center field. Looks like Kimmy Box is under it and makes the play. But on the play, Julia Ranney advances from second to third. First out of the game for the for the
Next up
Greyhounds.
For the Greyhounds, number 7, Ava Walker.
But the Hounds have got a runner on third. Ava Walker, who was batting .750. She was 4 for 4 in their game last night at Center Grove. And she's going to have 5 in a row there, and she's going to get a hit and a run batted in. So the second hit of the inning, third run already with 1 error. Julia Rani scores from third base. Ava Walker on first. Second baseman Carly Combs comes up. Quick time out there. There was a ball that was down by the Miller's bullpen there that was sitting there on the fence. Fastball a little bit outside by Brooke Heron. Combs takes that one. 1-0 on the Greyhound second baseman. Little high, 2-0. Ava Walker here on first base. 3 runs already in here in the top of the first. There's a strike over the outside corner. Combs is a .273 hitter. There's a lower a strike across the knees. Bottom dropped out of that. That thing went across the plate right at the knees, and by the time Julia Furiak caught that, it was almost on the ground. That was a beautiful sinking pitch. 2-2 now. There's a pop-up into center field. Center fielder Kimmy Box is under it for the second out of the inning.
Next up for the Greyhounds.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, Audrey Hansen. Audrey Hansen had a great game against Center Grove last night. There's one drilled into the corner. That's probably going to score another run. Being waved in, and there will be no play at the plate. With 2 outs, Ava Walker was taking off at the crack of the bat, and she scores the 4th Greyhound run here in the top of the first. And Audrey Hansen has a triple, her first triple of the season.
Batting next for the Greyhounds, number 11, Carlin Doty.
Carlin Doty, the pitcher, steps in. 2 at-bats this season. So far, no hits. Doty is a freshman. Count evens at 1-1. Doty, the 8th batter to come to the plate in Immigood's first inning here. Nice slow strike. 1-2. An error and 4 hits have contributed to the 4 runs that the Greyhounds have got here in the top of the first. Swing and a foul straight back. Count remains 1-2. Both outs have gone to the center fielder, Kimmy Box. Here's the pitch from Heron. Strike 3 called. So in the inning for the Greyhounds, they score 4 runs and 3 hits, 1 error. 1 left on the bases. So in the middle of the first, it's Greyhounds 4, Millers coming up to bat. Community Health is Central Indiana's leader in providing healthcare services where and when patients need them. Any questions? You can contact Community Health at 317-355-7775 or check out their website at www.ecommunity.com. Well, the Greyhounds take the field. Miller's coming up to bat. Greyhounds go out on the field for the first time with a 4-run lead here in the bottom of the first. We had a situation very similar last night in the game against Westfield, where after a couple of innings, the Millers were down 6-1, but they did manage to come back and win that game, so we'll just have to see if they've got another comeback victory in their pocket tonight. The Millers will send Carly Blankenship, Haley Lutz, and Maddie Moore to the plate. All those guys are batting in the 4s and 500s, so there's a lot of power in the beginning of Jake Bullard's lineup here for the Millers. Left fielder Carly Blankenship steps in.
For the Millers, number 8, Carly Blankenship.
First pitch from freshman Carlin Doty is a ball. A little bit low and outside. There's a nice hit. Oh, I thought that might go in there for a hit, but the center fielder, Celine Funky, had that played just perfectly. So there is one out already in the bottom of the first. Haley Lutz, the first baseman, steps in next. Lutz is a 500 batter. Strike over the inside corner, belt high. Nice pitch. Great opportunity here for Carlin Doty. There's one right to the shortstop. Took a bad bounce, and Haley Lutz is on base. I'm not sure how they're going to score that, if they'll score that a hit or an error. I'm going to score that as a hit. That was a very, very well-hit ball right to the left of the shortstop, Ava Walker, and even though she did make contact with the ball, it was a solid hit. So Millers have got their first runner of the game on. Brings up Maddie Moore, the third baseman. Moore is a 600 batter. There's a ground ball foul, just foul to the left of the third base. "58 degrees at game time today. Wind is a little stronger than what we had last night. The flags all around the stadium here are straight out. A very strong easterly breeze blowing in. 1-2 now on Maddie Moore. Haley Lutz on first. One out. That one hit her. So Maddie Moore earns the base the hard way. Takes one for the team. That's going to bring the cleanup hitter, the pitcher, Brooke Herron, up to the plate. Junior Herron getting her first start of the season. A bunt attempt is missed. 0-1. First and third base playing in. Second and short playing just about at normal depth. Outfielders showing a lot of respect for the strength that Brooke Herron has. Takes a second pitch for another strike, makes it 0-2. The 0-2 pitch is fouled over to the left side. Millers would like to get some of these runs back that they gave up in the top of the first. Right now with one out, two on. Runners at first and second. Haley Lutz at second, Maddie Moore at first. And Brooke Heron swings and misses for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up designated player number 22, Brooke Rundle.
Number 22, Brooke Rundle.
She had a big home run last night in that comeback against the Westfield Shamrocks. A little bit inside to Rundle. There's a strike, evens up the count at 1-1. A little bit low and outside to Rundle. 2 balls and a strike. There's a bouncing ball over toward Coach Deke Bullard. Let me get his name right there. In his first season at the helm of the Millers. Two pitch. A little bit outside. So Brooke Rundle has worked it to a full count. Runners will be off with the pitch. Swing and a miss. Rundle strikes out for the third out of the inning. So in the bottom of the first for the Millers, there were no runs. There was 1 hit, no errors. There were 2 runners left on base. At the end of 1, the Greyhounds are ahead of the Millers 4-0. From personal injury claims to complex business litigations to divorce cases, Church, Hiddle, and Antrim protects the rights of individuals, businesses, schools, and government bodies all around Indiana, including Noblesville, Fishers, Merrillville, and Tipton. Contact their Noblesville office at 317-773-5320 or visit their website, www.cchalaw.com. Church, Hiddle and Antrim, one of our fantastic sponsors here on Hamilton County Television. Well, we're through 1. The Greyhounds came out like a house on fire, put 4 across in the top of the first. Millers failed to score. Greyhounds are coming back up with their number 9 batter. Emma Morton will lead off the inning.
Number 9, Emma Morton.
Followed by the number 1 and number 2, Celine Funky and Darby Roberts. Right back to Brooke Heron. Over to Haley Lutz. 1 pitch and 1 out. That's what the coaching staff likes to see.
Leadoff batter, number 8, Celine Funky.
Celine walked in the first inning, scored the first run of the game. Strike over the outside corner of the plate, about belt high. Goes for the bunt, misses, goes to 0-2. That one's low. Gets away from the catcher, but no runners aboard. There's no problems. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Center fielder Celine Funky, who's headed to play softball for the University of Louisville. There's a high pop-up. It's going to be out of play. Just over by the Carmel Greyhounds first base dugout. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Celine Funky. That one bounces in, evens the count up at 2-2. I'd like to thank our fantastic Hamilton County Television crew. Got Will and Dave on the cameras today. Jim Wofford, as usual, doing his excellent job at the controls. There's a well-hit ball to left field. That may be out of here. That is a home run for Celine Funky. Wind or no wind, that ball was very, very well hit. It sailed well over the head of Carly Blankenship. So the Millers have given up 5 runs already here in officially 1 1/3 innings.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 23, Darby Roberts.
Roberts had a double in the first inning with 1 RBI. I was talking with Coach Emily Good before the game, and we were talking about what a player like Celine Funky means to this team, or to have a player like her on any team, and she just couldn't say enough good about her. There's one that's going to go into the gap. Will that be caught? No, it will not. That's going to go all the way to the wall, and it's going to be a stand-up double for Darby Roberts. Her second double of the day. She had a double in the first inning, a double here in the second inning. So Roberts is in scoring position. That brings Jake Bullard out to the mound talking to his players. Kristen Mello is beginning to loosen up in the Miller bullpen down the left field side. Hey, we can we'd like to know what you folks are thinking about out there. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. Hamilton County Television on Twitter at hctelevision.com. Also on Facebook, you can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Hamilton County TV. The meeting is over. Julia Ranney steps in. She reached on an error last time she was up. Another well-hit ball into left center field. That time, Carly Blankenship got right under it, and she brings it in for the out. 2 well-hit balls out there to left field. One managed to stay in that Blankenship was able to get the out on. The other that was hit by Celine Funky did go out of the park. So there's 2 outs now, and that brings up the designated player, Kristen Eckel. There's a ground ball that's going to go to the second baseman, quickly over to first for the 3rd out of the game.
In the top of the second.
So in the top of the second for the Greyhounds, it was 1 run and 2 hits, no errors, 1 runner left. Now in the middle of the second, score is Greyhounds 5, Millers nothing. Say Ivy Tech prepares Indiana residents to learn, live, and work in a diverse and competitive environment. To answer any questions on enrolling or general information, you can visit their website, www.ivytech.edu, or give them a call, 317-921-4300. Ivy Tech, one of the great educational institutions in the state of Indiana. And for those of you who have not had a chance to visit the remodeled new Ivy Tech campus here in Noblesville, you might want to do that. It's a very, very nice facility. The Millers have got some catching up here to do. They're going to send Julia Furiak, Bree Tergesser, and Grace Smith to the plate here in the bottom of the second. Still plenty of time in this game. With the exception of the home run last time, Brooke Heron did a pretty good job of getting the Millers out last time. Julia Furiak catching for the Millers this evening. She is a .600 hitter. A lot of power out
Top
there.
of the second for the Millers, number 21, Julia Furiak.
There's a solid line drive. It was snagged right by Emma Morton out there in left field for the first out. One pitch, one out. Morton had Furiak very, very well played.
Next up for the Millers,
Bree Tregasser, the right fielder, is stepping in. Ball one in the first pitch. And that ball left Furiak's bat. I thought that might be in the gap there in left field, but it was not to be. Here's a ground ball to the shortstop, over to first to G. Derziotis for the second out of the inning. A 6-3 put out there. Grace Smith, the shortstop, steps in.
Number 7, Grace Smith.
Well, this has got to be giving Carlin Doty a little bit of confidence in herself in her first outing as a freshman, as a Greyhound. Smith takes the second pitch for the second ball. There's a strike at the knees. 2 balls and a strike on shortstop Grace Smith. There's a ball that's probably going to be caught. Yes, it was. It line drive right out to center field to Celine Funky. So the Millers go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on the bases at the end of 2. It is now Carmel 5, Noblesville nothing. Smith's Jewelers has been serving Hamilton County, including Noblesville, Fishers, Westfield, and Carmel, for over 65 years. Many of our jewelry stores have come and gone, yet Smith's remains. If you ask people why and how, the answer would be their outstanding jewelry selection and customer service. The knowledgeable staff at Smith's Jewelers is eager to give our customers a memorable and positive experience. Contact them at 317-773-3383 or visit them online at www.smithsonthesquare.com. We're through 2. The Millers have got the lead 5-0. Foul ball right over here in front of our hometown television position. Haley Lutz made an effort to try to get there to make the play, but didn't stay up in the air long enough for her to get there. Goes to the strike. Ava Walker, the batter. She had a base hit and scored in the first inning. Second pitch from Heron. That's a pop-up into left or right field, just in front of the outstretched arms of Bree Tregasser. That is going to be a 2-base hit for Ava Walker. I thought when that ball took off that she might have a play at it, but I do believe that the wind held that up a little bit and made it difficult for Tregasser to get to.
1, Carly Combs.
Carly Combs, the second baseman, steps in. Flew out to center field her last time up. There's a line drive into left field. Drops right in front of Carly Blankenship. Another base hit for the Greyhounds. Second hit of the inning. I've got them with 7 hits total now in the game. Audrey Hansen, one of the big hitters for the Greyhounds, steps in. She had a triple her last time up, was stranded, did not score. There's a well-hit ball to center field. That's going to be to the wall. That's going to score at least 1. And we're going to have runners on second and third with no outs. So Ava Walker comes all the way around from second to score. Carly Combs ends up on third. And Audrey Hansen is on base with her second hit of the day, a two-base hit. Another hit for the Greyhounds and another run, so that makes it 6-0 and brings up the pitcher, Carlin Doty. Ball one on Doty. She struck out in the first. Ball two. The Millers just have not been able to get any luck in this game tonight. The ball is either bouncing in front of the players, can't take anything away from the Greyhounds. They've just hit the ball very, very well tonight. Here's one just over the head of our first base cameraman, Dave, over there. He kind of looked up and thought, I think that ball's going over my head. Dave's got quite a nice little hat on there tonight, trying to keep his head warm. Three balls and a strike on the pitcher, Carlin Doty. Left fielder Emma Morton is on deck. There's a drive into center field. That's going to score at least one run. They're waving on the runner from third, and two more runs have scored. And we're going to give Doty a base hit. We can give her second on the throw in, but she also picks up 2 RBIs. And the Greyhounds pick up another hit and another run. 4 batters, 4 hits so far in this inning. I believe for Doty, that's probably her first hit of her career. Her first hit, first RBIs. A lot of firsts for her tonight. Okay, so we are going to have a change here. Coming into pitch will be number 4, Kristen Mello. Leaving the game will be number 11, Shay Starrett. We'll just have to see position-wise where everybody goes here. Mello pitched the first couple of innings of last night's game, and she was rocked pretty hard. She didn't get a lot of support from her infield last night. So Carly Blankenship is moved to second base.
And batting for the Greyhounds, number 9, Emma Morton.
Emma Morton steps in, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. No outs, 3 runs, 4 hits so far here in the top of the third for the Greyhounds. There's a strike. There's a nice bunt. That's going to advance the runner. But there was a crash at first, but the second baseman, Blankenship, she was not over there in time. And a run does score on the play. Carly Blankenship was just a little bit late getting over there. So another run and another hit.
Now batting for the Greyhounds, number 8, Celine Funky.
Celine Funky steps in for her third at-bat of the game. Had a home run to lead off in the second. 9 runs, 10 hits on the board for the Greyhounds. There's a slow roller to first. Going to second, forget the force out. Nice play there on the fielder's choice. So Morton is out 5-4
Next up
for the second out of the inning.
23, Darby Roberts.
Celine Funky is on first base. Credit her with a fielder's choice. She goes for the steal and in there easily. So another runner in scoring position for the Greyhounds. 4 runs in the first, 1 in the second, 4 so far here in the third. 2 outs in the third. There's a pop-up. Carly Blankenship is under it. Makes the play for the second out of the inning. Julia Rennie steps in, the catcher. 8th batter to come to the plate so far this inning. Five hits, 4 runs so far for the Greyhounds in this inning. Two and 0. Rennie's reached on an air and flown out to left field. There's a solid hit into left field. Runner at third is being held. Another base hit for the Greyhounds. The 6th hit of the inning.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 33, Kristen Eckel.
Kristen Eckel was the last batter up in the last inning, grounded out to second. Flew out to center field in the first inning. There's a ball outside to Eckel. Pitch from Mello, swing and a miss, evens the count at 1-1. There's a well-hit ball into right center field. That one almost went out, hits at the top of the rail, and we have runners at first and third now. That'll bring up Ava Walker for the second at-bat this inning. She led off the inning with a 2-base hit and eventually scored.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 7, Ava Walker.
7 hits and 4 runs so far in this inning. 2 outs. Walker swings. There's a pop that's coming back here just behind, and it is a fair ball. Fair ball. So on that play, two more runs score.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 1.
We got runners on first and second now. Carly Combs had a base hit her last time up. Batting for the second time here in the third inning. Combs is the 11th batter to come up against the Millers in this inning. Inside, 3-0 now. That last ball by Walker, that thing wasn't fair but maybe 6 inches to a foot at the most. There's a strike, 3-1 on Combs. Base hit and flew out to center field in the first inning. 2 on, 3-1's the count, 2 outs. Top of the third. There's a ground ball passed right through the center of the diamond. That's going to load up the bases once again, as Combs comes through with her second hit of the game.
Batting next for Carmel, number 22, Audrey Hansen.
And finally, the Greyhounds go down. But in the inning,
Carmel scores 6 runs on 8 hits and 1 Noblesville error.
1 error by the Millers, 8 hits, 6 runs. So in the middle of the third right now, the Greyhounds have jumped out to an 11-0 lead. Say no job is too small or too big for Indiana Restoration Services. Whether you're a homeowner, a large business experiencing a water, fire, or storm, or you're just a homeowner that simply needs a good carpet cleaning, Indiana Restoration Service has you covered. Contact them at 776-9942. That's Indiana Restoration Service. Or visit them online at www.indianarestoration.com. To say the least, a rather frustrating inning for the Millers, a very productive half inning for the Greyhounds. They send 12 batters to the plate in the third inning, end up scoring 6 runs on 8 hits. They had the bases loaded when the final out of the inning was made. Millers have got a lot of work to do here to try to get back into this game. They're going to be starting with their 9, 1, and 2 batters coming up. That'll be, let's see, who's going to go in for that?
Leading off the bottom of the third for the Millers, number 12, Emily Minette.
Number 12, Emily Minette, first batter. First pitch from Doty. It's a ball high. I don't know of too many pitchers in softball on their first outing after 3 innings have got an 11-run lead, but Doty, that's what Doty's got to work with right now. 2-0 on Emily Minette. Three and 0. Ball 4. So Emily Minette walks on 4 pitches. Back to the top of the order, Carly Blankenship, who is now at second base. There's a bunt over to first. Carly Combs covers. The sacrifice is good. Haley Lutz coming in.
Next up for the Millers, number 14, Haley Lutz.
Base hit in the first. Lutz, the first baseman in Jake Bullard's lineup this evening.
Running at second base for the Millers, number 11, Shea Sterrett.
Shea Sterrett re-enters, is the runner. That's going to stay fair. Nope, that's foul. Cameraman Will is going over there to retrieve the ball. Helping out the cause this afternoon. 0-1 on Haley Lutz. High. Evens the count at 1-1. We're in the bottom of the third. The Millers have dug themselves a giant hole with an 11-run deficit here. Haley Lutz seeing what she can do to try to dig some of that back. There's a well-hit ball to right field. The wind caught that one and took that away from Darby Roberts. And Haley Lutz is going for 3. There may be a play. She's got a triple. Second triple of the day we've seen here. Sarah Starrett scores on the play. She went back in to run.
Number 10, Maddie Moore.
So the Millers pick up their second hit of the day. More importantly, they pick up their first run, and they've got a runner in scoring position with Haley Lutz at third base. And Maddie Moore steps in. She was hit by a pitch her first time up. There's a strike at the knees. I thought Darby Roberts might have a play on that ball out there in right field, but I do believe that the wind held that up to the point where she just couldn't get in there and get under it. There's one down the left field line. That goes over the outstretched gloves of Emma Morton all the way to the screen. And Maddie Moore is going to be into third base with a triple. 2 triples in a row for the Millers. Haley Lutz scores on the play. So Maddie Moore will be at third base. Brooke Heron is coming up to bat. So the Millers get their second run of the day. Third hit.
Batting next for the Millers, number 19, Brooke Heron.
Heron struck out in the first. Now playing in left field. Ground ball to the shortstop through the legs of Ava Walker. And the Millers have another run, and the Greyhounds pick up their second error of the day. An error on the shortstop, Ava Walker. Puts Brooke Heron at first base. Maddie Moore did score on the play. No doubt that she was going to score one way or the other. That brings up the designated player, Brooke Rundle. Struck out swinging in the first inning. Here's a steal attempt. She is in there. So Heron advances to second on the stolen base. 1 out, 1 on, 3 runs in for the Millers here in the bottom of the third. There's a pop-up that I don't think anybody's going to get to that. It's in the stands over there on the third base side. A little bit different viewpoint for us here at Miller Park. We're along the first base side here, about halfway between the bullpen and first base. So our perspective as far as the way the balls are going is a little different than what we're used to from being behind home plate. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. Over to, well, it's actually the shortstop. You get the play, and Rundle is out. 6-3 for the second out. But on the play, Brooke Heron advances to third. That'll bring the catcher, Julia Furiak, to the plate.
Next up for the Millers, number 21, Julia Furiak.
So the Millers have put a little bit of a dent into this Greyhound lead, scoring 3 runs here in the bottom of the third. There's a solid shot to left field. That's going to score another run. Brooke Heron scores on the play for the 4th run, 3rd hit of the day. So Furiak picks up her 1st hit of the day. And we're going to get a courtesy runner.
Running at first base for the Millers, number 3, Catherine Mast.
Catherine Mast is the courtesy runner.
Next up for the Millers, number 9, Bree Trageser.
Bree Trageser steps in. Grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd inning. Steal attempt. Mast is in there with a stolen base. So the Millers have put another runner in scoring position. Base hit could give them their 4th run of the game. There's a fair ball right back to the first baseman, Bree Derzagotis, and Bree Trageser is out unassisted by the first baseman.
4 runs on 3 hits and 1 Carmel error.
So the Millers send 8 batters to the plate. They do score 4 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 error, 1 left on the bases. At the end of 3 full innings now, it's the Carmel Greyhounds 11, the Noblesville Millers 4. I want to tell you about some of the great sports that we have coming up on Hamilton County Television. Later this week, coming up on Friday, we'll be doing baseball. We'll be at Dunker Field at 6 o'clock on Friday afternoon for the Westfield Noblesville baseball game. On Saturday, Perry Williams is going to be over at Guerin as Hamilton Heights comes calling on the Guerin Eagles. That'll be an 11 o'clock start. And then next Tuesday, we'll have softball. We'll be making our first trip over to Westfield as the Hamilton Southeastern Royals will be traveling over to Westfield to take on the Shamrocks in a 6 o'clock start next Tuesday. Don't forget, you can see the best in softball and baseball action here on Hamilton County Television. Carlin Doty steps in for the Greyhounds in the top of the 4th. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. Outside, evens the count up at 1-1. Doty with a strikeout and a base hit. She scored one of those 6 runs that the Greyhounds managed to plate in the 3rd inning. There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Smith picks it up. Over to Haley Lutz for the out. So the 4th starts very successfully for the Millers defensively. Emma Morton, the left fielder, steps in. Morton with a base hit. And now her 2nd ground out of the day. A 5-3 ground out for the 2nd out of the inning for the Greyhounds. Back to the top of the order.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 8, Celine Funky.
Celine Funky, been on base all 3 times she's batted, scored all 3 times she's batted. Also has a home run in the 2nd inning. The Millers with a 7-run lead here in the top of the 4th. Ball 2. The pitch from Mello. That one sails over the head of the catcher, Furiak. 3-0 on Celine Funky. You can just see the way that the pitchers have been approaching Funky, that they're trying not to give her anything to hit, but she's managed to get on base all 3 times, whether it be through a walk, which she just took, a home run, or whatever other method she can get on the plate.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 23, Darby Roberts.
Darby Roberts steps in. 2 doubles so far today. Also a pop out to the second baseman. We're in the 4th of the innings. Top of the 4th, 2 outs. 1 on for the Greyhounds. Roberts with 1 ball, no strikes. There's a bunt. That's a good one. Will she beat it? No, she did not. Good play. Had Carly Blankenship over there to cover to get the 3rd out of the inning. So
for Carmel in the top of the 4th.
In the top of the 4th, there was no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on the bases. The middle of the 4th, score remains Greyhounds 11, Millers 4. Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners. Serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. Contact them at 317-773-7200 or visit their website at www.loganstreetsigns.com. Well, Deke Bullard has got to be a little bit happier with what happened in the top of the 4th inning there. It brought Kristen Mello in earlier in the game, and she managed to quell some of the problems here. But the Carmel Greyhounds have 11 runs on 8, 10, 13 hits. 11 runs on 13 hits. That's quite an output by the Greyhounds. And we're only in the middle of the 4th inning.
Leading off for the Millers, number 7, Grace Smith.
Grace Smith steps in for the Millers. Her second at bat of the day. Flew out to Celine Funky in the 2nd inning. There's a ball a little bit inside, maybe a little bit high also. That's a little bit low, 2-0. Three and 0 now. Ball 4. So Grace Smith gets a walk to lead off the 4th inning. Walks on 4 pitches.
Next up for the Millers, number 4, Kristen Mello.
Kristen Mello steps in. Her first at bat of the game. Here's a stolen base attempt. And Smith is in there easily for the stolen base. So Mello will step back in with a 1-0 count and a runner in scoring position. There's a line drive right back to the first baseman, caught on the fly for the out. Fortunately for the Millers, Smith was not very far off the base. So there was no double attempt there, but it was close.
For the Millers, number 8, Carly Blankenship.
Carly Blankenship will be stepping in. Emily Good out to visit with her pitcher. So number 11, Doty, she will be leaving the game. That's going to bring in Kristen Eckel to pitch. She was the designated player. Up until this game, Eckel had pitched every inning for the Millers, has a 1.35 ERA.
In to pitch for the Greyhounds, number 33, Kristen Eckel. Now batting for the Millers, number 8, Charlie Blankenship.
A little bit low, the first pitch from Eckel. There's a strike over the inside corner. Grace Smith is on second. That one gets away from the catcher, Ranny. And Grace Smith advances to third on the pass ball. Two balls and a strike on Blankenship. That one's a little low. In fact, it hit her. So Blankenship, I didn't realize she'd been hit by the pitch. I think it got her in the foot.
Next up for the Millers, number 14, Haley Lutz.
Haley Lutz steps in, the first baseman. She's got a triple and a single so far in this game. 1 run scored. Sacrifice. Second out of the inning. On the play, Blankenship advances to second. Maddie Moore steps in. Hit by a pitch and a triple today. There's a strike right at the knees. We're in the bottom of the fifth. 1 run in so far this inning for the Millers. No hits. That one gets away, and that'll advance Blankenship to third base. That will be a wild pitch since that bounced in. Moore 2 for 2. There's one bounced right back to Eckel, over to first for the third out of the inning.
In the bottom of the fourth.
But in the bottom of the fourth for the Millers, there was 1 run, there was no hits, no errors, there was 1 left on the bases. So at the end of 4 now, it's Greyhounds 11, Millers 5. Fans Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophies provides you with same-day service for those last-minute decisions. Contact them at 317-773-7391 or check them out online at www.noblesvilletrophies.com. Well, the Millers did manage to get 1 run there in the bottom of the fourth, so they're stuck with a 6-run deficit at this point as we move into the 5th inning. The 5th inning for the Greyhounds will bring up their 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Number 6, Julia Ranny.
That'll be Julia Ranny, Kristen Eckel, and Ava Walker. Eckel was the designated player. She is now the pitcher. First pitch to Ranny's in the dirt, ball 1. There's one just beyond the outstretched arms of Grace Smith for a single for Julia Ranny. She picks up her second hit of the day.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 33, Kristen Eckel.
The 14th overall hit for the Greyhounds today. Kristen Eckel steps in. little bit outside and low. Kristen Mello entering her second full inning of work. That one is over the head of the catcher, Furiak. Rainey advances to second on the wild pitch. 2-0 now on Kristen Eckel. Had a base hit. Flew out to center and grounded out to second so far in this game. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike on Kristen Eckel. Runner on second, nobody out. In the top of the 5th. That one gets away from the catcher once again. And Rani advances to third. That one just slipped right between the shin guards of Julia Furiak and went back to the screen, allowing Julia Rani to advance. There's a ground ball right back to the Mello. She takes it over to first, but in the meantime, the run does score. Get the out, but also the Greyhounds do get another run. That'll bring in the shortstop.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 7, Ava Walker.
Ava Walker. 3 for 3 in this game. 2 singles and a double. There's a foul ball right back over behind us. Strike 1 on Walker. Came into today's game batting .750 with 3 hits. That average is going to go up.
Batting next for the Greyhounds, number 1, Carly Combs.
Second baseman Carly Combs steps in. 2 for 3 in the game. One and 0 on Combs. 2-0 now. The sun will really become a factor now for the right side of the field here. The 2-0 to Combs. Outside 3-0. One run in, 1 batter on. 1 out. Top of the 5th. There's a strike. Greyhounds with a 12-5 lead over the Millers. The pitch from Mello. There's a soft liner right over the second baseman for a base hit for Carly Combs. That'll bring up Audrey Hansen. Hansen with a triple and a double.
Number 22, Audrey Hansen.
And a pop up to the first baseman last inning. There's going to be no play there. The ball was knocked down. So the Greyhounds have loaded the bases with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. They've already got 1 run in.
Greyhounds, number 11, Carlin Doty.
Carlin Doty is the batter. Doty and Eccles just changed positions a little bit early, with Eckel becoming the pitcher instead of the designated player, and Doty now the designated player in Emily Good's lineup. There's a ground ball to the second. Tagged out at second. Nice double play. Inning-ending double play there. Good heads-up play there by Carly Blankenship. So she gets the out on Audrey Hansen for the second out of the inning, and Doty is forced at first on a 4-3 play. So in the top of the fifth, there was one run, there was one hit, there were no errors. 2 runners left on the bases. Middle of the fifth, the score is now Greyhounds 12, Millers 5. County Commissioner Mark Harebrant would like to remind everybody to vote on coming up in the election on May 3rd. He'd also like to remind you about some of the items that he has been involved with as your county commissioner. He's been involved with the City of Fishers, Noblesville, and the state of Indiana to secure $100 million for improvements on State Road 37. The Association of Indiana Counties 2015 Award for Outstanding Commissioner Team. Been instrumental in implementing energy savings programs for all county buildings, resulting in a $200,000 annual savings in utilities. County Commissioner Mark Harebrant. Be sure to vote coming up May 2nd. We're moving to the bottom of the fifth inning. The bottom of the fifth inning for the Millers. We're going to have Brooke Heron, Brooke Rundle, and Julia Furiak coming up.
Bottom of the fifth for the Millers, number 19, Brooke Heron.
Heron has struck out and reached on an error. Did score a run in the third inning. First pitch is a little bit low to Heron for ball one. Fouled off, 1-1. A ball and a strike on Brooke Heron. There's a sharp one right back to the pitcher, Eckel. Will she have time to make the play? No. I couldn't see what happened on that. She was blocked out from me, but I don't know if I believe that may have hit her in bounds. That probably the situation. I see Emily Good coming out right now. It will go as a base hit for Brooke Heron. Eckel appears to be okay, but you just never can tell on something like that. That could cause some damage somewhere, and that would be a huge loss for the Greyhounds to lose her services. But it does appear she's okay. Going to let her throw a couple pitches here just to make sure that she is okay.
Next up for the Millers, number 22, Brooke Rundle.
Brooke Rundle steps in, 0 for 2 for today. There's a strike call to Rundle. Rundle, the designated player for Deke Bullard today. There's a ground ball just beyond the outstretched arms of Ava Walker. And the Millers are in business here with runners at second and third. There's going to be a play at the plate. She is out. Brooke Heron is caught on a 7-2 play for the first out of the inning. Brooke Rundle ends up with a base hit. Give her second on the throw.
Next up for the Millers, number 21, Julia Furiak.
Julia Furiak steps in now. Looks like we may have a change coming here. Possibly a pinch runner for Rundle.
Running at second base for the Millers, number 5, Kimmy Box.
Kimmy Box is the pinch runner. One and 0 on Julia Furiak. Two and 0. Furiak 1 for 2 in this game with a pop out to left field and a solid base hit in the third inning. There's one coming right over toward our cameraman, Dave. That's 2 that have come over there and almost gotten him today. I figured out what it is, though, Dave. It's that hat. That hat is attracting those foul balls. No doubt about it. Another foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the catcher, Furiak. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Greyhounds ahead 12-5, 1 out. 2-2 on Furiak. Runner on second. Pitch from Eckel. Swing and a miss for a strikeout. Second out of the inning. Right fielder Bree Tregesser steps in.
Next up for the Millers, number 9, Bree Tregesser.
A little bit low on the first pitch to Tregesser from Eckel. Foul ball. Evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. High, 2-1. It feels considerably warmer out here this afternoon than it did 24 hours ago when we were here for the Millers and the Shamrocks. There's a strike, evens up the count 2-2. There's a ground ball to second base, scooped up by Combs, over to Derziotis for the 3rd out of the inning.
And in the bottom of the 5th, Millers score 0 runs on 2 hits and no Carmel errors.
So in the bottom of the 5th, there were no runs, there were 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on the bases. We are through 5 with a 12-5 score in favor. You can follow us at Hamilton County Television on Twitter at HCTelevision.com, or look for us on Facebook, and we'd like to have you like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Hamilton County TV. And don't forget, every Tuesday night, weather permitting, we have the softball game of the week, and then Friday nights we have the baseball game of the week. And we've got a couple other little surprises there for you in the meantime, and a couple of other Saturdays and other games. So you can check out all the sports action on our sports calendar for all the games at www.httv1.com. Hamilton County Television, bringing you the best in Hamilton County sports.
Number 9, Emma Morton.
Emma Morton steps in for the Greyhounds. Right back to Mello. Gets it over to Haley Lutz to collect the first out of the inning.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 8, Celine Funky.
Top of the order coming up for the Greyhounds now. Celine Funky steps in. Ball 1 on Celine. Been on base every time she's batted today. Evens the count at 1-1. You watch this lady play and you can see why she's going to be down at Louisville playing softball for 4 years. High and outside. 2-1. We're in the top of the 6th inning. (12-5) the score in favor of the Carmel Greyhounds. Greyhounds would like to put a couple more runs on the board. And Celine Funky is back on base for the 5th time today.
Next batter for the Greyhounds, number 23.
3 of those have been walks. 3 of those at-bats have resulted in runs also. Darby Roberts, the right fielder, steps in. Funky took off from first base, but came right back there. Colin Roberts was ball 1. The pitch from Mello. That one bounces in and gets beyond the catcher, Julia Furiak. Now, Funky had taken off with the pitch, so we will credit her with a stolen base. Two and 0 on Darby Roberts. Roberts is 2 for 4 in the game. A little bit low. 3-0. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. That was a very interesting play. The third baseman did what she was supposed to do. Maddie Moore took and was looking at Celine Funky back toward second base and started running her towards second base, but then realized all of a sudden she wasn't going to have a play at first base. So Funky went diving back into second base, and apparently Moore missed the tag on her. So the result of the play, we're going to give Darby Roberts, we're going to put her on base. I don't know if we'd call that a hit or we would call that a fielder's choice. I think technically we're going to call that a fielder's choice because she opted for a different play. But the result of the play is now there are 2 Greyhounds on the bases. We've got Darby Roberts at first, Celine Funky at second, and Julia Ranney stepping into the plate.
Batting for Carmel, number 6, Julia Ranney.
3 for 4 in this game. Ranney hits one very, very well into left field. That one hits the scoreboard. That is a home run for Julia Ranney. That ball was very, very well hit. So the Greyhounds are now up by 10 runs at 15-5, and they pick up their 15th hit of the game. A line drive home run right into the scoreboard there in left center field. For Julia Ranney, she picks up the home run plus 3 RBIs. Pitcher Kristen Eckel steps in. Ball one. The Greyhounds are now in a position, if they can get a 3 up and 3 down without even scoring another run in this inning, that they can win this game by the 10-run rule in the bottom of the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike on the pitcher, Kristen Eckel. That one is way wide. Ball 2, strike 1. Eckel has 1 hit today, 2 ground outs and a fly out to center field. That one's low, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. That's high. Eckel reaches on a ball, on balls. Ava Walker steps up for her 5th at bat of the game. 3 hits and a walk for Walker. Pinch runner coming in at first base for Eckel.
The Greyhounds, number 24, Molly Crott.
Molly Crack coming in to run.
And now batting for the Greyhounds, number 7, Ava Walker.
That one gets away, and Crack will end up on second. One ball, no strikes. The pitch from Mello. There's a solid hit to center field. Emily Good standing there at third base, holding up the runner Crack to third base. 16th hit of the day for the Greyhounds.
Greyhounds, number 1, Carly Combs.
Carly Combs steps in. Strike 1 on Combs. 1 out, 2 runners on board. Runners at first and third. Combs swings out to the shortstop. And the shortstop overthrows the second baseman. 1 run is going to score. And we're going to have a situation here where Combs was trying to stretch the error. She reaches on an error, and she's out at second base. But in the meantime, another run does score, and that leaves Ava Walker on third base now.
Next up for the Greyhounds, number 2,
Audrey Hansen is the next batter. The 3rd Miller error of the day. Audrey Hansen hits a ball well hit to left center field. That is a home run also. Home run for Audrey Hansen. A 6-run inning so far here in the 6th for the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds look like they're wanting to put this one away and head home after the bottom of the 6th if they can get 3 outs. Carlin Doty is coming to the plate. She is the pitcher of record in this game. Deke Bullard out there talking to his staff. And it looks like we are going to have another change here. Kara Conger is going to come in to pitch. Fans, we'd like to take a moment just to give a special thanks to all of our hometown Television sponsors. They include Community Health, Church, Hiddle and Antrim, Ivy Tech, Smith's Jewelers, Indiana Restoration Service, Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, and Mark Hairbrandt. And also, Mark Hairbrandt would like to remind everybody, May 3rd is Election Day. Do your constitutional duty and vote. We'd also like to thank our great Hamilton County Television crew. Jim Wofford at the controls today. He's sitting over in the shade, and he's complaining about getting cold. Got Dave and Will on the cameras today. Dave with that beautiful camouflage hat on today that all the right-handed batters, I think maybe they've got a little betting pool going on there where somebody can get Dave in the hat. Ninth batter of the inning comes up. Carlin Doty. There's a pop-up behind second base, and Grace Smith makes a good play on that for the third out of the inning. But in the inning, there were 6 runs on 4 hits, 1 error. Nobody left on the bases. So at the end of 6, or the middle of the 6th now, it's the Greyhounds 18, Millers 5.
In the top of the 6th, the Greyhounds score 6 runs on 3 hits.
Fans, we'd like to remind you that Logan Street Signs and Banners specializes in last-minute signage and banners. Serving Noblesville and Hamilton County since 1992. Contact them at 773-7200 or visit their website, www.loganstreetsigns.com. Also, don't forget Noblesville Trophies offers a large range of products, including sports trophies, corporate awards, and in-house embroidery. Noblesville Trophy provides you with same-day service for those last-minute decisions. We're moving into the bottom of the 6th.
Leading off the bottom of the 6th for the Millers, number 7, Grace Smith.
Grace Smith, who got that last out on a tremendous play there on a pop-up just behind short, will lead off for the Millers. Millers need to score at least 3 in this inning to get this game to continue. Behind 18-5. Second pitch from Eckel is also ball, so 2-0 on the shortstop, Grace Smith. Three and 0 on Smith. Ball 4. So Grace Smith starts out the bottom of the 6th for the Millers with a walk.
Batting next for Noblesville, number 2, Abby Brown.
Abby Brown steps in. Her first appearance for the Millers today. There's a foul ball. Coach Sarah Agnew over there fielded it with her foot. Nice job by Sarah. Oh, 1 on Abby Brown. Another foul ball coming straight over here in front of us into the bullpen. 0-2 on Abby Brown. Carly Blankenship on deck. Grace Smith on first. Reached on a walk. There's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Will they get the double play? No. They did get the runner at second for the first out of the inning. But Brown reaches on a fielder's choice.
Next up for the Millers, number 8, Carly Blankenship.
That'll bring up Carly Blankenship, who's at second base now. She had a sacrifice, a fly out to the center fielder, and she got hit by a pitch in the fourth inning. A little bit low. So Abby Brown is on first base now. 1 down. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Millers need 3 to extend this game. 2 balls. No strikes. Three and 0. Eckel having just a little bit of a hard time hitting the strike zone in this inning. Walked the leadoff runner, or the leadoff batter Smith on 4 pitches and endangered doing this to Blankenship, which she just does. Second walk of the inning. That puts Abby Brown on second base. Carly Blankenship on first. And brings up the first baseman, Haley Lutz. Lutz with a sacrifice, a triple, and a single today. 5 pitches in a row from Eckel out of the zone. Ball 1 on Lutz. There's a swing and a miss on a fastball. Eckel has got a tremendous fastball. That ball is in there so quick. Another fastball. That one's over the knees on the inside corner. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little high. Strike 3 on Haley Lutz. Second out of the inning. The Millers are down to their last out.
Millers, number 10,
Maddie Moore steps in. Hit by a pitch with a triple and a ground out. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. There's a ball that's hit into right field, fielded by Darby Roberts. And that will have runners at the corners.
Next up for the Millers, number
Correction,
19,
runners on every base. Abby Brown on third. Carly Blankenship on second. Maddie Moore on first. 1-0 on Brooke Heron. There's a ball hit to center field. The center fielder, Celine Funky, grabs the ball, and that ends the game. So in the bottom of the 6th for the Millers, there were no runs, no hits, one hit, no errors, nobody left on the bases. The final score of today's game, the Carmel Greyhounds 18, Noblesville Millers 5. I think just to summarize this game real quickly, the Greyhounds jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first half of the in the first inning. They had 10 runs on the board before the Millers even had a chance to score. The only innings that the Millers managed to put something on the board were in the third when they scored 4 and 1 when they scored 1 in the fourth. But then the Greyhounds came back in the top of the sixth, put 6 more runs across to make the final score 18-5. We'd like to give special thanks to all of our hometown television sponsors. Those include Community Health, Church Hiddle and Antrim, Ivy Tech, Smith's Jewelers, Indiana Restoration Services, Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, and Mark Hairbrand. We'd also like to remind you that coming up on Friday, it will be baseball time. The team of Craig Atkins and Perry Williams will be over at Noblesville Friday night at 6 o'clock to bring you the Millers and the Westfield Shamrocks. First game of the season. Then coming up Saturday, we have baseball with Hamilton Heights visiting Guerin. And next week, softball on Tuesday. The Hamilton Southeastern Royals will travel to Westfield. On behalf of Jim Wofford, Will, and Dave, our great Hamilton County television crew, my name is Brad Silbert. Thank you for joining us. Good night.